A picture from space.
This is the port town of Mariupol, and the steel plant that's been in the news is located here.
Right here. This image, taken from a satellite about 280 miles over Earth. This company, called Planet, has more than 200 satellites in orbit that resemble this one and this one, displayed in its San Francisco headquarters. The satellites can pinpoint just about any location and show it in great detail. Like this satellite image of a cemetery in Mariupol, which helped lead to a horrifying conclusion by this Stanford University military expert, who is a client of Planet.
So how do you know these are new graves?
So up here you can see there's trees, there's tombstones, there's little dots that show each plot for each person. Here now, this is fresh brown dirt, and they've been using bulldozers that we saw in earlier imagery to slowly dig out these trenches. Around just the town of Mariupol, there are 3 mass graves, and I would say that they're ready for 5,000 bodies or more.
The images captured here are important because they add to what can be an incomplete picture. Remember when the Chernobyl nuclear plant was under attack? This video was incomplete at best, leaving a lot of questions. There is no hiding the facts with the satellite image.
And here is a convoy of tanks coming through here and military vehicles. They set up bases here. They dug into the radioactive soil, and they dug trenches in here.
And then there's another aspect to this war, the continuing destruction of Ukraine's agriculture sector, something that's very hard to capture when trying to photograph from the ground.
Let's zoom it in. And this is a couple of weeks ago. You see a grain silo. Ukraine is a very important agricultural country. And let's see what happens a few days later. What happened here?
So there was a huge gravity bomb dropped here. You can see a kind of concentric circle of ejecta as it hit the dirt, buried, and then exploded out. And the explosion was so percussive that it took out these 4 silos here, as well as the grain storage here. And then all this sort of light yellow that you see spread out is wheat.
The food security crisis is a crisis on a crisis. We're going to feel its effects reverberating all over the world in the next year or 2.
Planet's clients include the U.S. government and many other governments, also the media, universities, and notably humanitarian organizations.
I have no doubt that our data can and is used today around the world in Ukraine and well beyond its borders to help support humanitarian efforts, to reduce suffering, to save lives. There's no question of that.
Returning back to the most current images of Mariupol, we ask to zoom in, but are told at this time it is too sensitive to show on TV.
We just don't want to accidentally reveal information that would compromise those humanitarian efforts.
Planet says that small satellites like these last about 3 to 5 years in orbit and take millions of images every single day. The larger satellites don't take as many daily images, but the resolution is superior and they last longer, up to 8 years in orbit. The company launches about 2 to 5 large satellites a year. The smaller satellites, up to 80 are launched annually. This is Gary Tuchman, CNN in San Francisco.